Hello, welcome back to the channel. Stupid here. How's it going, Sheep Squad? I hope you had a good holiday season. I'm still kind of in between the void, as it's called in retail. The week between Christmas and New Year's. It's always kind of like, I feel like a zombie. I don't really want to do anything. But hey, we have a channel to put content out on. So hey, thanks for checking this out. Don't forget to smash that like button and all that typical YouTube algorithm nonsense. But today we're looking at another fun deck that I was inspired by some City League results from Japan, and it might shock you, even though it's not a lightning type. It's Victini. For those that know, I actually considered playing a really aggressive and disruptive build of Victini at Indie Regionals this last year. If you follow our buddy for the win TCG, I'll put a link to him in the iCard. He covered that list I was going to play in one of his videos. So yeah, I really have a strong love for Victini VMAX, and a lot of people give a crap. And I mean, for a while, Palkia was super dominant, and now it's not. So this can actually take the time to shine and burn your opponents for some aggressive damage. So yeah, let's just dive in. We have Victini VMAX, 310 HP, 3 prize VMAX Pokemon with 2 attacks, Spreading Flames and Max Victory. For 1 color, spreading frames. Wow, we're spreading frames. Dear God, what have I done? Spreading Flames, attach up to 3 Fire Energy cards from your discard pile to your Pokemon any way you like, so you can put it on this, something on your bench, and we'll cover all the other Pokemon in this list. But the real attack here that you're going to use often is Max Victory. For a Fire and a Colorless, you do 100 damage. If your opponent's active Pokemon is a Pokemon V, it does 120 more. So you hit for 220 for 2 energy. That feels really good. And now we have things to increase that output. Really insane potential here. So yeah, we have 2 VMAXs, and we're playing 2 different Pokemon V for Victini. We'll start with this one here. This one also has the same Spreading Flames attack, but the second attack on it is Energy Burst for 2 fire. There's 30 times the amount of energy attached to both active Pokemon. So if they have 4 or 5 energy, that's 150 plus your 2, it's 60 more. That's 210, and so on and so forth. And, 2 retreat, 190 HP, nothing too crazy. A little bit on the weaker side of a basic Pokemon V, but it is what it is. And then we've got 2 copies of the Victini V from Battle Styles with V Bullet for 1 fire. It does 10 damage, but if you're attacking into a Pokemon V, it does 50 more. So you do 60 for 1, helps sets up the math. So if you think about it, 220 plus the 60, 280, the magic number. But we can get there in other ways too. And of course, you have Flare Shot here for a Fire and a Colorless. It does 120 and discards all energy from this Pokemon. Not going to use it too often, but V-Bullet's actually a pretty good setup attack that if you slap a Choice Spell on there, there's 90. We also, we're playing Rapidash in here, so we can increase that damage output. So yeah, we're playing a 4-2 Victini with a 2-2 split of the Vs. The next V we have is an Entei V in here. For the ability Fleet-Footed, once during your turn, if this is in the active spot, you may draw a card. Another thing to note too is this thing has 230 HP, which is a little bit higher for a basic V. Most of them cap out at 220, but you have the attack Burning Rondo for 20 plus 20 more damage for each bench Pokemon. This is the exact same attack as Entei, Suicune, Raikou. The trio, they have the whole same attack and ability. Just their typing, their HP, and the retreat are all different. Continuing on, we have a lone copy of Radiant Charizard. We're playing Fire. How can we not play the best Fire-type Radiant Pokemon in here? Charizard's ability, Excited Heart. For every prize card your opponent's taken, it costs 1 colorless less to fulfill its attack cost. And of course, you have to Combustion Blast for 1 fire and 4 colorless for 250, and it can't use it during the next turn. But you're going to let them get ahead in the game, and Charizard can come in and swing. And because we have other, fire energy in here and other ways of accelerating energy, you can technically start attacking sooner with Radiant Charizard than later in this deck. Another early aggressive attacker here is this copy of Moltres from Brilliant Stars. The attack. Inferno Wings for 1 fire does 20 plus. If it has any damage counters on it, it does 70 more damage. It's not affected by weakness, which there's not really any grass anyways floating around, so I wouldn't worry about smacking things for weakness. But to be able to hit for 90 for one, or 120 for a belt, or even more with Rapidash, which we're about to cover, feels really good. And yeah, Rapidash, which we will talk about now. We have a 2-2 line of Rapidash from Silver Tempest, flexing that single staff promo I've got from running pre-release events at our store. We have the 70 HP Ponyta with Takedown for 50, does 10 damage to itself. You need a Fire and a Colossus. You're never really going to attack with Ponyta. There could be a better one out there, but I really don't think there is. I think this just might be the only one. But yeah, we're going to look at the Rapidash here. 100 HP on this stage 1 Pokemon, but the ability Heat Boost. Once during your turn, you may discard a Fire Energy card from your hand in order to use this ability. During your turn, your Fire Pokemon's attacks do 30 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon, and it has the attack Fire Main for Fire and Colossus, which you're never going to use. But this Heat Boost, discard an energy, that's 30 more damage. You get both of these in play. Discard 2, that's 60 more. So 60 plus 220 from Victini is 280. A full bench on both sides with Entei is normally only 220, 60 more, 280. Charizard, discard 1, 250 plus 30, 280. One more, 310. Moltres, you're doing 90, 120, 150, 180 with a belt. So there's a lot of like increasing numbers, a lot of math fixing with this Rapidash in this deck, and I think it really has a good chance to bop some things. Continuing the Pokemon and rounding it out, we are playing the support package of 2 Crobat V and 1 Lumineon V. Crobat with the Dark Asset, put him down, draw your hand up to 6, and Lumineon will let you search for a supporter with Lumineous Sign. Pretty straightforward. That is it for the Pokemon line, though. Alright, so let's keep rocking and rolling here. We've got our normal ball package, 4 quick and 4 ultra. Pretty straightforward, nothing too crazy to explain. Discard cards from your hand, put Pokemon from your deck into your hand. Basics, anything. Pretty straightforward. Now we've got 4 copies of Trekking Shoes, giving this deck a little bit more of a oomph, a little bit more power potential here. So you can go ahead and just get extra cards into the discard pile, aka your Fire Energy, to get into play with Magma Basin, or just discard cards you don't need, or find whatever pieces you're looking for at the current moment in time. We're rocking a single copy of Echoing Horn, and this is really good in certain matchups where like Victini can't quite get to a VMAX, but you can put a V back into play with Echoing Horn, and then, you know, gust it up with Boss or Serena, and then max victory for the KO for the 220. So this is a really good card in this matchup, and, you know, if they ever play like Reggie's, this is another good way of like kind of like putting them back in their place. Especially Reggie's is a really bad matchup for Victini, since you're only doing 100 damage, 130 with Rapidash, but you have Moltres, Charizard, and Entei to really pick up the pace. Alright, we're playing 2 copies of Switch. Most of everything except for Victini has a retreat cost of 2. Charizard's got a fat retreat cost. Entei's got a fat retreat cost. So you just want to be able to keep an eye out on those so you can pivot those out of the active spot. In addition, we are playing a single copy of Air Balloon to attach to a Pokemon and reduces retreat cost by 2. This covers everybody except for Charizard and Entei. For some damage modification, of course, I did mention Choice Belts. We have 2 copies in here to increase our damage to a Pokemon V by 30. So again, Rapidash Belt is an extra 90 damage. Push Victini up to hitting for 310. That's enough to knock out a Mew VMAX. Keep that in mind, permitting they don't have Oricorio in play. And we don't have any V-Star powers. We don't have a V-Star Pokemon, but we do have Forest, Seal, Stone. This gives your Pokemon V, so in this case, Entei, VMAX, and Victini V, and even Crobat or Lumineon, the ability to just search your deck for whatever card you're missing. This is a really good game changer in a deck like this that just loses out to that power creep of not having that V-Star power, and now you have access to half of a Starbirth, basically, with Forest, Seal, Stone. Let's do some supporters. I normally do the items before, but I felt like, you know, the items needed to be before for once instead of after. Just, it feels like it makes more sense. So yeah, supporters, we're rocking 3 research. Discard your hand, draw 7. We've got 2 copies of Marnie, hand disruption, shuffle, draw, or shuffle, hand on the bottom. You're not shuffling your hand into your deck. Don't do that. That's a penalty. You'll get in trouble. We've got 2 copies of Boss's Orders for your gusting effects, as well as Serena for discard and draw, and Disgusting onto Pokemon V. So you can get pretty aggressive. In the back of the day, Victini would play 4 Boss's Orders. Now you can kind of split the load between Boss and Serena to be able to do a little bit more. We do have a copy of Roxanne. If they get to 3 prize cards or less, you can disrupt them down to 2 cards in hand and you shuffle and draw up to 6. So it feels really good in this deck, especially when you're able to take such aggressive knockouts with all of your Pokemon. And the last supporter is a copy of Clara. If you discard Pokemon with trekking shoes, or you need to get some fire energy out of the discard pile to use with Moltres, Rapidash's ability, Heat Boost, and then you can put them back in your hand and pop off this way. And also, because we're playing the trekking shoes and we're discarding cards, this is just another way of recovery here, and it feels really good to be able to have something. Couldn't quite fit things like Energy Retrieval or Super Rod, Ordinary Rod. I don't know why I said Super Rod. My brain is just off today. But Clara really does help in that clutch position. For the stadiums, we're playing 3 copies of Magma Basin. Once during each player's turn, they can attach a fire energy from their discard pile to one of their benched fire Pokemon. And if you do that, you put 2 damage counters on it. So that also helps the Moltres get damage counters on it to trigger its attack clause to do the extra damage. And this just also helps you attack with pretty much everything a lot faster. And then with the switch and the balloon, it really helps pop off. And finally, 10 copies of basic fire energy. Had to bring out the e-reader expedition base set energies out of the stash to be able to shove into this deck. I wanted to try and keep it as low rarity as possible because I'm running out of cards. I'm running out of cards for decks. So yeah, we've just got the basic fire energies. We're rocketing 10 copies of them. I'll just kind of boop them over here. Pretty straightforward. But let me know what you think of this list down below in the comments. As always, don't forget to comment. Show your support. Leave a like. Show your support. Subscribe if you haven't. It's like 80% of our viewers aren't subscribed to the channel. We're super close to 2,000 subs with less than a week of the year, and I didn't have that as a goal. But if we can crush 2,000 subscribers by New Year's, I would be elated, and we'll probably do some sort of giveaway over in Discord for a fat stack of PTCGL codes. Also, keep an eye out for a live stream. There's a PTCGL tournament on this Thursday coming up, the 29th. So I'm thinking about live streaming that here on the channel and then playing in it. So we'll see how that goes. And yeah, I'm working on dubbing over some gameplay from the Blastoise deck and a few other matches as well with my buddy Trezor, who came to the shop and played some cards last week. So keep an eye out for that kind of stuff too. So make sure you subscribe to be notified of all of those things. Hit the notification bell. That way you know what's going on. And also, if you want, you can become a member of the channel to support the content. If you like the physical cards, they're expensive sometimes. Sometimes they're cheap. Sometimes I need a lot of stuff. I need some sleeves and some accessories. Your memberships directly support the content I produce here on the channel. But that'll do it for me. Much love. I'll see y'all, and if I don't see you before then, Happy New Year as well. See you later.